Hi everyone, welcome back to this part of the course, or this may be the first video you're viewing, I don't know, but anyway, welcome. We're going to be covering colour theory today. Now we're going to do it in a way which is easy to understand, because colour theory can be a very complicated subject, and I want to keep it kind of simple because this is a beginner's watercolour course. So how we're going to deal with colour theory is just looking at the three primary colours, secondary colours and complementary colours. And I think that is enough to get us started and painting in watercolour, especially for this beginner's course. Now, you don't really even have to do this part of the course. I think you could just go straight onto the videos if you really wanted to. But to give you a basic understanding, this would be really useful. So I do recommend you watch this video and then just have a little go at mixing these colours and get the feel for them. And see how it works out for you. We'll also have a little look at separate mixing techniques, and that's mixing in the palette, glazing techniques, granulations, and some wet into wet techniques. So yeah, well, okay, we won't waste any more time. I'll just set my stuff up and we'll get started. Okay then, let's have a go at this little exercise. The three colours I'm going to use are Cobalt Blue, Lemon Yellow and Cadmium Red. Now use any three primaries you've got in your palette, it doesn't matter if you've just got different colours, as long as they're red, yellow and blue, they'll be fine. And you can have a go at this exercise. But okay, so I've drawn out a circle and then I've divided that circle into three to place the primary colours first. So let's get stuck in and we'll just put the red, we'll go here. Mix a good, we'll put some blue here, and we'll put some yellow just there. So there we go. Now, this is obviously everyone's going to know this, I'm sure. But if you mix red and yellow together, you get orange. Right. So let's get a nice orange going here. So I mix some yellow to the red, or red to the yellow, and I pop that in there, so I've got a nice orange colour. Okay, now I'm going to mix the yellow and the blue together and I'll get myself a nice green, a bit more blue maybe, and we'll pop that in the middle there, so it's not too red and it's not too blue. Bit more, and we'll just pop that in there. So there we have our secondary colours, and these, the orange, the green and the purple, are known as secondary colours. You've got the primary colours on the outside, we've got the red, yellow and blue. Okay, now we'll look at the complementary colours. The complementary colour is the colour opposite to it on the colour wheel. So the complement to blue is orange, the complement to red is green, and the complement to yellow is purple. And then if I can get hold of a decent amount of paint, we'll use, there we go. And there we have a real sort of bluey grey colour. And we'll just paint that in here. Okay, so if I add yellow, touch of yellow to purple, you get a nice purpley grey colour. A bit more blue, a bit more red. And we'll just pop that there. So it's just a different neutral, different grey. And then finally, if we add some red to our green, that gives us a really nice deep dark grey. So this is really worth experimenting around with, because these greys, these neutral colours, are really useful in landscape painting and they really help to build a successful painting. Okay then, so in this colour mixing explanation, we're going to be dealing just with two colours, and I'm going to show you the different ways you can actually mix them. We're going to start off, we're going to have cadmium red and cobalt blue. Now, if I want to palette mix a colour, and that's kind of just mix it in the palette, a straight mix. Start off with my cadmium red, pick up some cobalt blue, give it a good mix, make sure it's well mixed on the plates. You end up with a kind of a purpley colour, and that's my palette mix colour. It's completely combined. I've mixed the pigments together as well as I can within the palette, and we'll just make a little bit more because we're going to make sure we have enough. You always make sure you mix more colour than you actually need, because there's nothing worse than actually running out of a wash of colour halfway through, especially if you need the same colour. You can never make the exact match. Well, you can, but it's very difficult. Right, so there we go, there's plenty. So this is just a palette mix colour, completely combined in the palette, and we'll just block that into this square. There we go. So we should end up with a pretty even area of colour. There we go. Okay, so now we'll do the wet into wet technique. This is where I basically put some clean water down on the page, and this can be done with clean water, or you might be putting down a wash of yellow or some other type of colour. But I'm just going to wet the square a little bit. Then I'm going to get some red on its own. I'm just going to drop it in with my brush. Get some blue. And just let these colours merge into the page together. So it's not mixing them together, just dropping the colours in. And this is called wet into wet. And it's really useful technique when painting. I use it a lot in my paintings, and you can create some lovely effects this way. And they'll just merge in together, those colours. And again, these are used in when I paint trees and lots of different sorts of different effects. Again, it's a really, really useful technique in watercolour painting. So there we have it, wet into wet technique. And you can see how those colours have just merged together on the page. Okay, I painted this little red square down here earlier, now it's dried, and now I'm going to show you what's called a glazing technique. So instead of mixing the two colours together, red and blue, to make that dark purple colour, we've painted just the red on this square, and now we're just going to put, oh nice, and it's dry, now we're just going to put a wash of blue straight over the red. And we're just going to come down the page. And that way it takes the intensity out of the blue, but again it makes it look more of a purpley blue. And this is a really useful technique in watercolour, and it's used a lot, and that's called glazing. Finally, we have a technique called granulation, and this again is another technique great in skies and landscape painting. So basically we've got another square there, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a nice flat wash of cadmium red down the page. Lots of paint. Very warm in here today, so it's drying very quickly. And then basically starting at the top, just dropping in some cobalt blue, and then just letting that run naturally down the page. Just hold on a slight angle, and by doing this you get lovely granulation in the wash. And as I explained, that is just perfect for skies. I use this technique all the time, and it works really well. but it retains. You get all. I think it's the heavier pigment falls into the tooth of the paper. But I hope you enjoyed that brief introduction to colour theory. It's not something I want to linger on too long, because I think people get bored and skip it anyway. Most people want to get on to just painting, and that's very much how I do it. But you know, you could see how we mix the primary colours, and we got the secondary colours, and then we mix the complementary colours, and how we got the greys. It's pretty simple, but just have a go at doing that. And then the different sort of techniques you can do here, and then dive straight into the first paintings. But like I say, you can ask any any questions you like in the forum area, and if I can't answer them, maybe one of you other guys can answer them for them. You know, it'd be great to hear what you've got to say. Okay, thanks for watching, and look forward to the next video.